Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for another episode of Cardwell Farms. Today we are going to be transplanting some tomatoes. Today we are going to be doing indeterminate varieties. Indeterminate varieties are varieties of tomatoes that do not have a determinate harvest date. So that's something you definitely need to take into account when you are planning on where you're going to plant them, because indeterminate varieties tend to get bigger. They also need more trellising. And they also, in that sense, will also need more space to grow, so you will need to space them a little farther apart. We are going to be planting 4 varieties. We have this German Johnson tomato. It's looking really pretty. And some of these, I did buy these. I have some more that are coming up, but they're just not ready yet to be transplanted. We got Yellow Jubilee, and this one, if you look, has 2 growing out of it. So I'm going to separate those and get 2 plants out of it. I try to look for those when I am buying starts. This one is Chef's Choice, and this one is another indeterminate. This one's got a nice healthy looking start. Then we got, this is Black Creme Tomato, which is another indeterminate. So let me go ahead and show y'all the setup we have this year. We are trying something different. Last year we did, honestly, way too many on one row. It was a little frustrating towards the end because we couldn't quite get to all the tomatoes. We had planted a double row on roughly a 30-foot row. I want to say we had roughly 50 tomato plants on 2 or 3 of those rows. So this year we're going a little smaller, but I'm going to go ahead and show y'all this setup and show y'all what we're doing. Quick before I get to that, if you do enjoy this video, please share it. It really helps us grow, it really helps our channel, and it really helps get the word out there to people that are struggling and that are having issues getting their tomatoes together and getting them in the ground. So let's go ahead and get going. Okay, so my husband went and took a post hole digger and dug me out these holes. We have a T-post here, another one, and then on this we see how we have a hole here and a hole here. We're going to actually tie those stems off to the T-post, and we might actually do a piece of wire that loops around these on both sides, and that will help kind of contain the plant to one row. Okay, so I have water here for watering after we plant, and then I have some seed starting mix here. This is just some really good soil. If you want to learn how to make this, we did make a previous video on making your own seed starting mix. It is organic material, or I should say all natural, and that's just what I'm going to put in the bottom and around the top to kind of help this start get going. It's also got some compost mixed in, which is a lot of nutrients. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with this Chef's Choice. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a scoop of this in there. A little more. And then I'm going to water. Do is you would pop the square out. Try and do this one-handed. See how that just came out in a nice square? And that's what you want. So I watered this earlier, and if you can tell, some of the soil did not get fully watered, and that's one thing you really want to make sure you're doing well when you're getting your starts in there. Go ahead and add a little bit of soil just because it's too low. Okay, set that baby right in the middle. Go ahead and put some of these larger pieces of soil around it to keep it in place. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add a little more soil on the top. Okay, marry that. Okay, and then water. Now when you water, you'll notice that the soil shrinks down. And when that happens, I like to go in and just kind of push a little. Tomatoes, when you transplant them, a lot of times you want to get them pretty deep so that their roots are nice and sturdy in the ground. And then I like to go in and I'll put these larger pieces right at the base to kind of help stabilize it. Doesn't that look pretty? Nice and pretty. Okay. And then I'm actually going to put this tag back in here just so I can look at it later. Okay, that one looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next. Okay, so I already pushed in some of that native soil, and then I went and I put some of the seed starting mix on top. The next thing we're going to do is add some water. Okay. Now this is the German Johnson, and as I told you earlier, there are two. Sorry about the angle, I'm kind of using a rock to help me shoot this. So to separate them, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of feel where they are. They're really intertwined. So this one was the smaller of the two. Get that in there. There we go. Now I'll take this other piece and I'll get it in the next one. so much for joining us. Got a little windy, so I wasn't really able to talk much towards the end. But we really appreciate y'all joining us to transplant tomatoes. I really hope that it helped. If there's anything that I left out that you would like me to talk about, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I will go ahead and say watering for tomatoes. I like to do it about 2 to 3 times a week, maybe twice a week, depending on the weather. You don't really want to water their leaves much. I know I was watering them as I was putting them in the ground, but you want to avoid doing that as much as possible. Now, if you have not had rain in a few weeks, from my understanding, it's good to water the leaves maybe once every like 2 or 3 weeks. Not super heavy, do it very lightly like a mist, and that will help the leaves stay really bright and vibrant. Wash off any dirt that's gotten on there. A lot of times that will wash off like the layer of sand or the layer of dust that has built up on the leaves, and those leaves need that to be cleaned off so that they can accept sunlight from the sun. So, and to do photosynthesis, of course. So, also, I had compost that was mixed into that starting mix. So I definitely recommend feeding them a little bit when you're transplanting them. Nothing too crazy. You definitely want to do some nitrogen and some like bone meal or something like that. Something that will help with rooting. And that'll just help maintain, make sure that you have a very strong, healthy plant. And in return, they will give you back lots of healthy fruit and vegetables. So there's the watering, there's the fertilizer. I showed you how to transplant them. I talked about that seed starting mix. And I talked about trellising and planting where you're going to put them. So I guess other than that, there's not much else I can say about tomatoes, except they are delicious, and you will not have anything better tasting tomato-wise than a homegrown tomato. You just don't get those at the store. Anyways, feel free to leave a comment. Go ahead and share this video if you enjoyed it. We really appreciate all the support that we have from our subscribers now. Sorry, my son is making a huge mess next to me. Anyways, we will see y'all later. Bye.